Okay, good morning, happy Thursday, everyone. It's a bit of a cloudy Thursday, not too hot, not raining, some bit of wind. I bet it's gonna rain later, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. So what do you notice? What do you notice? Okay, Ninja. Besides its so beautiful looks. Yes, one thing that stands out is the stock muffler, which is what we're going to be talking about today as I go and ride to Lapu-Lapu to buy myself Senyang's lumpia, which is just the best lumpia ever. Okay, so let's talk about that in today's episode. Of course, we're gonna be traveling to Lapu-Lapu during rush hours, or I don't know, semi-rush hours, maybe. Hopefully not. Okay, so cold start sa stock muffler. Let's see. Okay, 31,000 kilometers odometer, and that's barely nothing. Oh well, I guess that's how it is. Yeah, see, it still sounds good. It's a low rumble, low growl, but nowhere near the original sound it had when I still had my SC project. Okay, sige lang. I guess that's the price you pay to avoid getting impounded by the LTO, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So cold start pa siya. Gotta wait until it warms up. Temperature hasn't even risen, no? So for now, let's take a look at my chain. Ah man, so clean. Just clean the chain, man. I am Mr. Chain Man. Did you know that one of the best ways to check how meticulous the owner is when it comes to bike maintenance is by simply looking at the chain? Because it's one of the easier things to do and clean, chain maintenance. But if you're lazy, if you're a lazy owner, then more often than not you will overlook it. So if you wanna test someone's claim na they are very meticulous sa bike nila, look at the chain, health of the chain. Okay, 49 degrees. I think that should be okay. Wow, Jude, I can barely hear anything. I can barely hear anything from my muffler. I'm not sure if you can hear it, guys. Okay. Oh, I can hear the whistle, the hum of the air intake. I'm not sure if you can, but it's kind of it's sort of like new, because we're so used to hearing the overpowering noise of the aftermarket muffler that we forget to appreciate the simple sound of a roaring inline four. Wow. As it scoops air into the engine for the intake. Oh, there. Whew. Sounds so good. Okay, so you guys might be wondering, might be asking, why am I back sa stock muffler? If you're not from Cebu or Davao, or if you're in Cebu and Davao but you've been living under a rock, and you would not know that it's very hot, very init, the issue of aftermarket mufflers. Everybody has been running up and down to switch back to their stock mufflers, because the LTO in its wisdom has decided that only original road legal mufflers from reputable brands who can afford the testing and certification, only those mufflers are fit to be on the street, fit to be used on the street. Okay, so there are two ways to look at that. If you boil it, if I think about it, it boils down to two things. The first is freedom. Well, we bought our motorcycles for us to ride and enjoy, so naturally you want to improve it, improve how it sounds, improve how it performs, maybe just a little bit via muffler. Okay, and it is in my opinion that our freedoms should not be neglected by the government. Okay, but like every other freedom out there, there has to be certain limitations, and that brings us to the second road that we can take, which is the legality and the environmental factors, environmental quote-unquote safety. I'm not sure if you guys have been exposed to loud noises coming from mufflers, but I have. I get exposed to it every day coming from my own muffler, but my muffler is not really that loud. It passes the 99 dB test. But mufflers from those people, from riders who don't really care about anything else except how they feel, how their loud mufflers make them feel. Okay, to the point that it becomes a nuisance, it becomes an annoyance, it becomes a public hazard when it comes to noise pollution. Okay, and that is why the LTO has come into the fray, has entered the battle to ensure that public safety is paramount, is placed first. Okay, and I also agree with that. So therein lies the conundrum, diba? There's the where do you draw the line? Okay, freedom should be taken into consideration when it comes to making laws. So I think that at the very least, when it comes to mufflers, there should be two factors that LTO needs to target. Two aspects of mufflers. Mufflers lang. The first is sound. Diba? Does it make loud enough sound, or does it pass the requirements of the LTO? So dB meter, we were on the right track, diba? The LTO has been purchasing dB meters to measure the would-be violators. Okay, and the second would be pollution or emissions. In the Europe and United States and other parts of the developed world, Euro 5 plus na sila. Okay, so that means emissions standards, noise standards are a bit more strict than the Philippines, which is, I think, or last I checked, ang Philippines is just Euro 4. Okay, Euro 4 lang Pinas, so less strict. But why is the Philippines implementing a rule, a law that is meant for the Euro 5 countries out there? Kasi LTO right now is not really banning aftermarket mufflers. In fact, they are only banning mufflers who do not have the road safety certificate or approval, diba? otherwise known as EC/ECE type approval for aftermarket mufflers. Okay, so what does that approval mean? What does that imply? What is it approving? It is approving a muffler for use on the roads legally. Okay, because, and that certificate says that it is legal because it has been tested to be, to pass Euro 5 standards. That's basically it. So if you look at any modern and original muffler being sold out there, aftermarket, it can either be road legal or for racing use only. Kanara gina. So if you go to the SC Project website, you can see two types of mufflers. Kanang naay approval certificate, which is road legal, o katong walay approval certificate because it is race use only. Okay, so ang LTO nato, Cebu, I'm not sure if Davao follows suit, but as for Cebu, allowed ang aftermarket muffler as long as it has that approval certificate. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that poor people, majority of the riders in the Philippines, would not be able to avail of that exemption. Kasi, I mean, an aftermarket muffler costs how much? Bare minimum 40,000 pesos. I mean, would you spend 40,000 pesos, generally speaking, for a piece of muffler? And ang aftermarket muffler that is road legal, believe it or not, since it is EC approved, Euro 5 compliant, it is silent. Okay, not sure if you've heard an original muffler in all its glory, kanang wala kitang tang silencer, kanang approved good. It's basically just the big brother of a stock muffler. It doesn't you get some weight savings, you get a little bit of extra power and torque, but in terms of sound, it sounds just a little bit louder because it still has to meet the Euro 5 requirements. Now, one thing that it does, like I mentioned, is the greatest benefit is the weight savings. Okay, and the looks. The looks, it's all about the looks, man. An aftermarket muffler definitely looks better than a stock muffler. Although lately, if I may say so myself, ang mga stock mufflers from more modern bikes are already a little bit good looking. So if I'm not sure if you agree, but the stock muffler on the ZX-4RR, ZX-10R, ZX-6R, they look very good. A bit big, a bit shiny, but good nonetheless. Okay, so that sums it up sa muffler situation here in Cebu. It's incorrect to say na aftermarket mufflers are not allowed. It is allowed, but only if it passes the Euro 5 compliance. And the proof of passing that compliance is the approval certificate. Okay, roadworthiness certificate, I don't know the other names for it, someone na siya. And it exists, okay, it's real, it's not something na ginimura. In fact, it has been implemented in those countries earlier, much sooner pa sa Pilipinas. And Philippines is just catching up. Okay, but we're trying to catch up too fast and not really matching the socioeconomic scale of such a requirement. But anyway, that's how it is. If you have that certificate, you pass. you can use your aftermarket muffler, but only if you have the money. Now, an even bigger question is, would the LTO even know? Would they realize na what you have, what the paper that you're holding is an approval certificate, you know, after seeing how some of the enforcers reason out to riders? And I'm sorry for saying, but binugo, you know. What could you expect, diba? But after seeing them explain the manner, the logic, I highly doubt na they'll be able to distinguish and understand the value of an aftermarket muffler. Oh, LTO, checkpoint oh. Sorry na lang kayo, boys, because I am compliant. My muffler is compliant. My plate number is compliant. Plate holder. My side mirror is compliant. My aux lights are compliant. So what's up, man? I don't know. My ORCR has been transferred to my name, so I don't think they can find anything against me if parahon ko nila. Going back to the muffler issue, okay, too fast ang pag-implement nila, no? Because we're not even Euro 5, diba? We're Euro 4. So kanang Euro 5 nga requirements is a bit too strict. Di pa siya bagay sa Pilipinas, because we're a poor country. Majority of our riders are poor. Okay, it's, to be honest, in my opinion, it's really anti-poor. Kinailang ginabuhat, it's really anti-poor. You know, they don't even stop and search and check four-wheeled vehicles, trucks, diba? Buses and all that. Nga kana noon sila daghan pud nag mga unauthorized quote-unquote modifications. Anong motor man? Okay, and I think that it's because of the frequency and number of motorcycle violators. And sad to say, you know, it's, I hate to admit it, but it's true. Daghan ko kaila, good friends of mine, good people, na they really want to insist on using very loud mufflers. For those who know me, you would know that I've always advocated for moderation when it comes to noise. Not just for the environment, for other people, but for you. Kasi loud mufflers can cause fatigue sa hearing. Okay, and when your hearing is encumbered or fatigued, then that's in a very important sense that you're losing. Okay, the sense of hearing is important when you're driving, because you know, you get to hear vehicles all around you, beep beep and all that. But anyway, wala po yung ano, the riders are not totally innocent because of abuse and all that. Our government has resorted to drastic measures. Okay, and kaning mga dB meters, they're not really everywhere food, diba? Our government, with all its corruption and whatnot, can't afford to equip every enforcer with dB meters. Okay, so that's the sad state of riding. I'm not sure if nakita batag mga aftermarket diri. Uy, ito ra JVT, dakop na dong. So pa may mga wandri, mga dakop. But on the other hand, if you think about it, it's quite peaceful. It's quite peaceful to be on the road where everybody is silent, where every motorcycle is silent. I mean, it's something new. It's a new experience. I get to hear the bike, I get to hear people easier, I get to hear myself. So I guess there's that, no? So what about you? What do you think? Okay. Personally speaking, I think that aftermarket mufflers, even though katang mga daily approved or wala approval certificate, they should still be allowed. Okay, they should still be allowed because we can't really afford it. They should still be allowed provided that they meet the sound requirements. 99 dB. If people feel that 99 dB is still too loud, then amend it, diba? Amend the requirement, the required 99 dB. I think 99 dB is borderline very loud. I had an Akrapovich, I don't know, I forgot the pronunciation. I had an M1 from N4 for my Ninja 400 before. Ang iyang dB reading was about 86. Okay, and that was already a bit okay in terms of volume. So I think if they decrease the requirement to 90 to compromise, that would be a good start. Okay, and of course catalytic converters should be there. It's not just for performance, unfortunately, but it's also for the environment. So full system exhausts, I would agree that they should not be allowed on the streets. Okay, and kinda introduces a new problem, because most scooters most scooters I know think that ang catalytic is na embedded sa ano nila, incorporated sa muffler. So if you remove the muffler, you also remove the catalytics. That's something harder to fix, and not sure if there's a solution for that even. Okay, so mufflers, I kind of agree with what LTO is doing right now. Now they're clamping down on mufflers. They're being legal about it. You know, I get it. I get where they're coming from. I get the doctrine, the law that they're basing it from. But the spirit is not really, I would say, not suitable yet for the current socioeconomic status of most of the riders. We can't really afford original mufflers. So, and there are a lot of businesses locally na provide almost similar quality mufflers, diba? We just need to accept them, because they are also they also can be legal. Kato, takpan to. If there was an LTO waiting by, the katong R15 would have been flagged. Okay, so like I was saying, I agree with LTO, but at the very least, they would not base the legality of a motorcycle on that approval certificate, because most of the Filipinos can't afford original ones, and most mufflers being sold in the Philippines cannot obtain one, cannot procure one. Okay, so noise and emissions, kana man gid ang nakabutang ba sa RA 4126, as long as it complies with emission standards and does not produce overly loud noise, is what it says, diba? Then it's okay. So what defines overly loud noise? Naman to sa kwan ba? DOTR na memorandum, the 99 dB. If they think that it's still a bit loud, then, you know, lower it, and then we'll work around it. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the talk about mufflers, and I hope that everyone has learned a thing or two about why we are currently experiencing this. Okay, and one last thing though is consistency. If only the LTO was consistent with everyone and everywhere. As far as I know, ang Cebu and Davao lang ang implement og ginani, which is quite unfair. Diba? At bare minimum, quite unfair. But anyway, that's a problem for another day. You can't change government institutions overnight, but at least you can educate others, which is what I'm doing. And hopefully by letting others know, they'll begin to understand and, you know, cooperate and make changes themselves for the better. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much everyone for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll just continue recording so that you'll see traffic situation sa Lapu-Lapu. This is not even it. This is not even it. Medyo light traffic rin sa Lapu-Lapu. I could get used to this sound. It's relaxing. But people don't notice you, and I think that's why some riders out there want the loud muffler, diba? People notice them. Hey, notice me, senpai. Loud mufflers save lives. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Some people don't agree with it because they live in a place that's not riddled with camotes or kamote pedestrians, or ano pa sa paban, stray animals. Loud mufflers is a way to warn those people or let them know na something is coming, something fast is coming. Okay, sometimes loud mufflers can really save lives, but then again there's an argument against that, kasi you know, the argument is that if you only travel slow within the speed limits, you would not need such a warning to others. Drive slow. I mean, legally, technically, that's right, you know, but would you really buy 400, 600, 1000 cc only to ride it at 40 or 60 kilometers per hour? You know what the hypocrite, you know what the pretension. Let's stop pretending. You buy those bikes because you want to go fast. So really there should be a compromise, you know. It should not be plain black and white, but a compromise. Just a compromise like mature adults would. Oh yeah, I love the sound. Well, the weather's so nice. There's no rain, but there's no sun. I mean, I like it. It's just perfect weather for riding. Ayan, anata, we have arrived sa Senyang. Hamang Senyang. There. Dito parking. There. Okay, bye bye people. Have a good one.